Hello, everybody. I am so excited. This is my first episode in this really awesome series called Mucha Malentía. And let me tell you, this has been a dream job of mine for the longest time. So I decided, dress cute, invite your cool friends, get a good light, and see where this takes you. And I am so excited for my first guest to be the one and only baddie Maggie Koerner. So, this is a huge, huge moment for me because she just launched in November this incredible album that I could not stop listening to for a whole week. I sent it to all my friends. And not only that, I also called her the day that it came out and sobbed with her about how transcendental it was. So, this is huge. We actually met on a film set in 2022. And since then, she's been such a mentor, such an inspiration, such a powerhouse. Without further ado, please, please, please put your fingers together for the one, the very only Maggie Koerner. Hey,
Hi.
girl. I hope you really understand how much I mean. Your album was so amazing.
Your call that day meant everything to me. It was just you. It was anything and everything an artist would want to hear when they finally release something out into the world. I'll never forget it. We truly sobbed together.
We really did. We
Yeah.
really did, y'all. Now, dude, I remember when you called me and you were sobbing. I mean, it moved me even more, first of all, because you've already put out albums, you've toured, you perform a lot, and you've been down the road
hmm
with a band. You've gone solo, you've had management, then you nixed management. Like you've really gone down the road. So when you called me so moved, I was like, dude, this journey never ends, does it?
Never. It never ends. And I mean, the greatest thing you can do is to just stay grounded enough where that you can receive messages like that and fully feel them, call your friend and be like, thank you, and then cry again. I mean, it was such an incredibly emotional journey to even get to the place where I wanted,
Yeah.
let alone could afford to record upstate. So to hear the kind of response that you had to it was everything I'd ever wanted when recording an album.
It was so good, Maggie. But the thing about it is, first of all, I'd had met you in 2022,
hmm
and I saw a spectrum of emotions within those years. I feel like, I mean, it's been like that for all of us since COVID. Like it's like almost we're getting to know ourselves individually, but
Yeah,
also more so collectively,
yeah.
and that involves a lot of relationship, new like discoveries.
Oh
And
yeah.
And I felt like I didn't know you before, but I
hmm
had heard your music, loved it. Amazing voice, lyricism, some things that I very much value in music.
hmm
But this album had you plainly, openly, and you let your this. I like to describe it like this. I love darkness. Okay, like I love darkness. If you saw the playlists that I have that are called like songs that bring me peace, you'd be like, okay, Michelle. They're like really raw and heavy. And you had this darkness
hmm
that it felt like you were just opening your chest open and being like, the
hmm
wound is right here
Yeah.
and I'm ready to heal it.
Yes. Absolutely. That's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Tell me about how these songs came together.
Um, like I mean, over the past decade, I had been writing these songs, and I don't even know where to begin with that. I've been writing all of these songs, and eventually I recorded other albums, but these songs stayed in the back burner, and the list just keeps piling up of songs I've written that are unreleased that could go to the studio one day. And when it came to record Upstate, I knew I wanted to shake things up and do things completely differently as far as how I recorded it and who I recorded it with. I knew that I wanted to be the producer, or at least co-producer, but like the boss applesauce in charge of the whole thing. I knew that I wanted to be, I wanted my vision and I wanted my vision to be at the forefront, but with, help from others and open to the help and change from others. So I found all of these new people and invited them into my life to do this album. And then my co-producer and engineer, Ajay Kombelik, he came over, and he and I made a short list of like 20 songs, and we just kind of went through them, and he was like, these are the ones that I'm identifying with. And those are the ones that we chose. But I was driving home from Austin yesterday, and right as I was leaving town, a melody came into my head, and I recorded it. And then I'm like almost to New Orleans, and it hits me that that's the verse for a song that I wrote when I lived in Austin in 2020. So that's how I write songs. They stay in my head, and then I tap into things. Things come to me, and then there's like, oh, it's like this puzzle piece that I'll put together. Songs take time for me to develop, and it feels like this divine inspiration moment and how they come to me and the melodies come to me. But that's how these songs usually, these are how my songs come together.
Yeah. I relate to that too. Yeah. Sometimes it's a jolt.
Right.
It's start to finish.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes I know there's something there, but I'm not bringing it. But the thing that like I mentioned, there's a lot of this gorgeous darkness. It's very inviting. Right. And that's when I know something is real, because it's a darkness that is so vulnerable.
Yes.
What emotional territory did you have to walk to select these songs?
I literally asked the songs, which one of you need to be heard? Like which ones really need to be put into tangible, like releasable form. Sarah's Farm. Oh. I wrote about my favorite ex-boyfriend in 10 years ago, right? Over 10 years ago, started writing that. And then that was always one that I really wanted to record one day. And then Oaxaca, about my least favorite ex-boyfriend. I knew that those two really needed to have their moment. Songs like They Say and Way Down.
Oh, wow. What a good song. Yeah.
I wrote They Say, and again, back in 2014, I wrote Way Down during COVID. It's just the songs that made sense. The songs that I thought were the most complete and ready. But then I wanted there to be some juxtaposition of the production. Like here we have these really dark, heavy themed songs.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm working with these musicians who have these cheeky ideas and this cool indie sound that's almost like a little lighter.
Yeah. That's apparent in there.
And because I didn't want it to be like chocolate cake with chocolate icing and chocolate sprinkles. I wanted it to be like maybe a chocolate cake with a vanilla icing and rainbow sprinkles. That makes sense,
Yeah, a little salty, a little sweet.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be too heavy like a lot of my past albums have been. I wanted them to be more accessible for the everyday listener, production-wise,
Yeah, but it's very nostalgic. To me, it felt very nostalgic. It was like almost like a much more contemporary 90s
Mhm.
Americana.
Yeah, I mean, that's like what I first like. That's the music I first fell in love with, which is like 90s alt rock and Lilith Fair Queens. So you put those worlds together, and that's my favorite sound. So I mean, subconsciously, that's what I was aiming for, I guess.
I will say I could not move on from Jesus Christ Boy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that one
I
I
couldn't move
wrote.
on.
Yeah, I mean, that one almost didn't make the album.
Oh
Yeah.
my, this is my dream right now, is hearing all the
That
lore,
one almost
because
didn't make the
wow.
album because um it was one of the newer songs that I had written. I think I wrote it in 2022, 2021, 2022. And when we got to the studio, we had Aaron Boudreau on drums for the first session, and we had Hal Pearson on drums for the second session, which were about like a month apart. We really liked the first half, like before you get to the breakdown of "You Don't Know Why That I Cry Every Time I
Oh,
Watch
and I
Love
love that
Actually."
part.
So the first half, we really liked this take over here. And then the second half, we really liked this take over here. And we just couldn't figure out. It just wasn't translating. And then Ajay suggested, well, maybe we just Frankenstein them together and take this session's first half and second session's or however it was, maybe, and we put them together. And then all of a sudden it was like, we did it. And now it's my favorite song on the album.
Wow. No, I love it, and actually, I love singing it out loud. It's so cathartic to be able
Yeah,
to scream, "I wish I never met you." Wait,
that's
that's not in.
Oaxaca.
No. Jesus Christ Boy, that's what I
Yeah,
meant.
Jesus.
Oaxaca's the second one.
Yeah.
Like, there's this, it reminds me, I don't know if you ever heard this song by Lana Del Rey that starts with "Goddamn man child."
Yes.
Like, that's the first line, "Goddamn man child."
Yeah.
Same with Jesus Christ Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's that, like, Jesus Christ Boy, fuck, how did you do that, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because like this song is also a Frankenstein of two different men that I dated.
Wow.
Actually,
That's
maybe.
probably what makes it so relatable.
Yeah, because it's like this. It's almost just like, damn, god damn it, I think I like this guy. How did you do that? Because you don't even really know me, and I don't really know you. You don't know any of these things about me. But all of a sudden I'm feeling things, and I don't necessarily want to feel things sometimes.
I also really like, and maybe you did this consciously, although I feel like you wouldn't, but when you were talking about the moment of "You don't know that I cry every time," the way you release Love Actually, it's almost like you almost don't even wanna say it. You're like, "You don't even deserve to know this deep, dark secret, but you're making me tell you. You're making me wanna tell you more."
Well, I'm gonna give you a little background on the bridge section as well. I was talking to this guy, and we would write each other love letters, and he wrote me a love letter that was basically the lyrics of that. It was him. It was him that was saying, "You don't know all of these things about me." And I actually gave him songwriting credit because I transcribed the letter and made them the lyrics for the bridge of the song.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. He yeah, he's a really, really sweet guy, and I was so just, oh my God. Like the lyrics of the letter, the words of the letter, I was just like, I related so much to what he was saying, because it's like I cry too every time at the end of Love Actually. And you don't know if I eat my ice cream slowly or suddenly. You don't know if my eyes do this when I'm really it was like all of, like we just had so much in common. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those that to me was very cathartic. And then Oaxaca, because screaming, I wish I never met you is so
So cathartic.
it's so liberating. Now,
Yeah.
so I remember hearing that song live for the first time when we did our show at the Marini.
Yeah.
And I was stunned.
Good.
Stunned. I mean, I didn't know that this was coming out. I was stunned because of that. But here's the thing. Look, this is why I tell people profanity is important in music, because it's like most of the time, I mean, I'm not talking about being mean and, degrade people or women or whatever.
No, that's cheap.
But profanity or openness is so important in music, not for just you so that you can be cool and be saying that, because I have witnessed people in their cars by themselves at a red light screaming lyrics that are profane that they could never say outside
Yes.
the car. So when I'm driving on my own, you best believe I'm like, belting it out. But screaming that at the top of my lungs feels so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's my least favorite ex-boyfriend. I started writing that song. It's also Breakdown is also about him. I started writing Oaxaca though after I finally left him. It was abusive. It was traumatic to say the least. And I wanted to write a Jagged Little Pill-esque song about him, but it's always been really important to me to not be the victim in life or in my own song. So I try to take accountability for what I did in the relationship in the lyrics, but the message stays clear that like I genuinely wish that I had never met you. I wish that somebody could nebulize me like from Men in Black about that whole time period. And it's really cathartic for me personally to scream into a microphone, I wish I never met you, and then like the end, which is like, how did I not know how you'd be?
Oh, that's
Like,
a good line.
I've watched so many documentaries about cult leaders, serial killers, men that kill their wives. Like I knew all the signs, yet I still like, how did I not know? So because like to me, at the end of a relationship, when it fails or goes horribly wrong, like this one, at the end of the day, when you've done all of the true shadow work on it, you have to ultimately forgive yourself for what you participated in, your choices. Like, I am indifferent towards him and his choices and what he does with his life now. Now I have to like literally forgive myself for seeing blaring red flags from the beginning and choosing to ignore them and assume, oh, that's nothing, because that's basically the theme of that song.
But that's the interesting thing about it. I had written this question when I was like coming up with ideas. You say you wish you could like nebulize this.
Yeah.
But this song would have never come out.
Right. I mean,
and so like I remember writing, like I was like, okay, rapid fire, some questions. And I was like, what version of you made this record that couldn't have made this record in the past? It's pretty much what you just said.
Yeah, it's like the woman who knows who she is, who's done a lot of healing and grown her self-worth, and a woman who wants to be a vessel or a catalyst for other people to feel things, heal, scream at the top of their lungs and get that shit out of them, It has like a lot. Like I went into this album recording it really like there were two goals. It was like, how do we serve the song the best? And how do I create something that will stand the test of time in people's catalogs and their hearts, Yeah, the ego like I took the ego out of it, whereas the ego was very much present on all of my past albums.
So in this one, you mentioned that you got, you brought your songs, you selected the people to work with, and they had a sound on their own as well.
Yes, exactly. Like Ajay, he does these awesome guitar solo parts on Oaxaca, on Jesus Christ Boy, Sarah's Farm. He has these like airplane.
Same here. Yeah.
He does these really cool guitar parts that I feel like lighten up the song a little bit. You know what I mean? It makes it sound, I always say he's like pitchfork cool.
Then you have also Aaron Boudreaux, who's amazing.
Yeah, Aaron Boudreaux is my right-hand man. He plays drums with me. He's also played bass for me in the past. But on this album, he played mostly drums. And then Aaron couldn't do the second session. So Ajay reached out to his friend, Hal Pearson, who's the drummer for the Deslons. And Hal, I was like, hey, nice to meet you. And then he ended up being like as wonderful as Aaron. And it was just such a perfect match. All the people really came together perfectly.
Yeah, I would say so, just based on the sound. But I was curious to know if it had been what you wanted, if it had been exactly what you imagined, or if you surprised yourself with how it turned out.
Both. This is the first and only time I've ever recorded something where the demos, the versions of the songs how I wrote them, either translated exactly like I wanted them to, or even better than I could have ever even imagined, because I don't have their skills in their brains, you know? So yeah, it's just been the most fulfilling experience to hear people talk about it, to listen, you know, to initially listen back and just cry and weep, because it is a common thing in the studio to not have your songs translated the way that you wanted. And I don't know if you saw Lady Gaga's speech last night at the Grammys, but far too often I was the only woman in the room working with these much more established, much more technically skillful musicians. And I was unsure of myself, and my self-worth was kind of low. And so I was like, oh, I don't know, you know what's best. Where I kind of knew what was best for my own music. But I didn't have the confidence to speak up or say, no, I absolutely do not want that, you know? And so it was really important for me, like I said in the beginning of the interview, to be the boss, to ultimately, like, of course, to Ajay, he's engineering, we're in his studio, and he's co-producing these. And there was only like one or two times where we really didn't agree on something. And now in retrospect, I should have just let him win that argument because he was right. But nothing like too detrimental. Like it was just like little small things. And but yeah, to have creative control, not only internally, but externally in the studio is so important. I mean, I know who I am as a woman now, so therefore I know who I am as an artist now. And then I just didn't have that confidence in me in my 20s, in my, you know, or even in my early 30s.
Girl, so when I came up with this idea for this podcast, you know, as you know, I'm Malentina. And it's actually like I made up that name. It's when I started doing burlesque 15 years ago. No, that's not 15. I think it was like more like maybe 12. I was coming up with a name, and Valentina kept coming to me because it was romantic and blah, blah, blah. But you can only imagine how many Valentinas there are in burlesque. So my name being Michelle, I was like, what about Malentina? That sounds malicious. That sounds, and slowly I was like, I created this alter ego because I used to be a very self-conscious person.
Yeah.
Extremely so. And I learned it from my parents. My parents are very self-conscious person, very much worried about what people think. And I started to unravel. And I started to come up with Mucha Malentía means lots of bravery, but malicious, like you have to be a baddie to be you and do what you did. Stand in a room with a lot of people with a lot more experience than you and be like, I know what you mean, but I want to go this way.
Yeah.
This is my voice.
It was it was also like very important to me. I knew that I needed at least one other woman in the room with me for the session. I did not want to be the only girl or only woman in the room.
Yeah.
I knew that I needed another woman in there. And so I had been such a huge fan, am such a huge fan of a singer-songwriter, musically talented woman named Gina Leslie. And so she played bass on the album and she played a little fiddle. And so that's just like, it's like almost like a placebo. It's like just knowing that there's another woman in the room just like makes me sit up a little high, straighter and know myself more.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, this is perfect because this persona, like your character, has been something I've always admired. When I met you on set,
Yeah.
I remember you stood up for people on set.
Mm-hmm.
You challenged, and that was another place where like the higher ups were all guys.
Yeah.
And then the women in the production were kind of like mindless and only followed the men. And you were never shy to question. You were very open all the time. Like, okay, I just want to understand. Also, does it have to be this way? But and I remember I that was the first time I was like, man, this woman is absolutely incredible, because it had been your first time on a set.
Yeah, first time.
And you were already very present, which a lot of times is not the case because everybody's in their heads and they are thinking about how they're being seen, and you're kind of like, I'm here and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But then, I saw you speaking so open about politics and your values. And you're very vocal online about politics.
Mm-hmm.
How do you decide your voice matters more than being liked?
Oh, that's just who I've been since I was a little girl. I was just born like that. I'm a double Sag with a so I'm a sun Sag, moon Virgo, and then rising Sag. I think I'm also, fourth generation strong, opinionated Southern woman. We are not weak in any sense of the word. So I just kind of came out of my mama like that. And it's, I've had to, the older you get, the more mature you get and the more emotionally intelligent you get. So you learn that not every radical truth needs to be spoken, or tone is very important. But I'm very, very passionate. I'm very, very passionate about equal rights and justice for all. I grew up in a town in Shreveport in the late 80s, 90s, where things just felt off, and I was exposed and learned very early on what racism and bigotry looked like, and was very, very disgusted by it, and to the point where I would cry a lot about it, the way people would be treated. And I mean, I was the kid at the slumber parties bringing up racial tension, where it's like, we're not going to invite her back to any more parties. I don't know how to do casual conversation. So, but yeah, this has just always been a huge part of who I am, is justice and truth seeking and speaking up for people who don't have a voice, or understanding my position in life and understanding my privilege in life. And I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't really care about being liked at the end of the day. Of course, I care about being good to people, and I hope my loved ones like me, of course, but I think to know me is to love me, right? So I'm either not your cup of tea or I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that that's one of the things that to me stands out the most, because I feel like the more I meet artists, you would think that that's not common, right? Because they're artists and they feel this need to express themselves.
Mm,
But the most common thing I find is repression.
mhm.
They have the need and they will express something. But the daring of actually going there, no matter what, at what cost, I find that that is not always the case. And that's been a very surprising thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I decided a long time ago that using my platform to speak up for things that I believe in was more important than the amount of likes that I had or the amount of opportunities coming my way. Because if I stay true to myself, the right opportunities and the right people will follow me.
Yeah.
I mean, I recently posted a video about abortion rights and lost like 100 followers in one day, and it's like, good
Wow.
riddance, baby, good riddance.
Yeah.
Like, and it's mostly white men. So I'm like, I'm not for you, it's okay, bye bye, you know.
Mhm.
Lots
That's
of
what I was going to ask
lots
you.
lots of really trolling DMs from every single one was from a white man. um it's just like, it's I don't even engage anymore. I just block.
Yeah.
I used
I
to
had
want to try
a
to debate and teach them something. I was like, no, it's not my responsibility to do that.
right.
You know,
Yeah. That was my next question. I was wondering if that had cost you throughout your career to stand with something.
of course. I mean, any artist that stands for something is going to not be as popular. Um, I'm not on this earth to be the next Taylor Swift. I'm not on this earth to be a pop star. I'm on this earth to be a vessel for truth and vulnerability and the gifts that God gave me in order, to make this music, use my voice in every way, not just singing.
Mhm.
You know, I truly believe that.
And, we all like we have that assurance, and like I said, that's something that makes you a very, very strong voice,
Mm,
as a human being and as an artist.
yeah.
But whenever the inevitable doubt hits the door, knocks on
Hmm.
your door, what brings you back? Not just because of
Um,
this is about you as an artist and you taking a stance and feeling that doubt.
I mean, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like, I'm so passionate in my belief system and my convictions in the world we live in today. I'm so passionate about standing up for what's right and standing up for, and I understand that the opposite side thinks that they're right and I think that I'm right, and then but ultimately I want us to meet in the middle of the bridge and be able to have compassion for each other, and I can all day long have a conversation and try to teach or be taught things, if there's respect in the conversation, right? If I can wrap my head around how somebody doesn't believe in abortion and doesn't ever, I think this is a sin or whatever, because maybe they were raised uber Catholic or whatever. I mean, I was raised Catholic too. But then I try to say, I hear you. I just want you to now hear me. And so I can have those conversations all day long. And I think that ultimately that's the only way that we get anywhere in life, is if we meet in the middle of the bridge and listen to one another
Mhm.
and have respectful conversations. But I just, when it comes to certain things like, what's happening with ICE, what has happened with blatant racism in the past, it's just people's lives being needlessly taken too early from this earth. And I mean, I just, I was promised, a better life when I got older. When I was a kid, I genuinely thought we would have world peace by the time I was 30. Now I'm pushing
Crazy.
40 and we ain't there yet. In fact, we have stepped back tremendously. So I don't know. My heroes were not people who were shy of speaking about these things and using their voice to stand for something. So that's what I'm just going to stick with.
Yeah. I have another question because that reminded me of a song that has also been very cathartic to me. I can't decide if it's my favorite because I've already talked about two of my favorites. Actually, no, there's so many. There's so much. I still have many more songs to talk about, so never mind that. But what the one I want to talk about next is Breakdown.
Yeah, dude.
Because you're talking about this and I'm remembering thinking that like I'm in the middle of a really good breakdown right now, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Hang tight.
Hang tight. I'll be right back. I'm like, need to go scream and cry a little bit.
Like I'm about, and I do that a lot at work because I have many jobs, but my main job is I'm a server.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a shift leader, so I'm in charge of a lot of things at my restaurant. And you can only imagine with my brain thinking about this, thinking about my songs, thinking about all the other things I do, plus, being in charge of like a 20 top coming in, somebody had a problem, my table's waiting on something, blah, blah, blah. And I've had that moment, your song in my head, like I'm in the middle of a really good crash right
Yeah.
now, and y'all
Yeah.
like buckle up.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, breakdowns can inevitably lead you to breakthroughs. So, if I do my best to not waste my crazy, and channel that crazy, it can be fuel, like just jet fuel for my purpose or for, for what for my purpose. But yeah, that song is maybe one of the most honest songs I've ever written. It's it's about the least favorite ex-boyfriend. I was sitting in my house on Bartholomew Street at the time, and I think it was like 2017 or 18. And I just remember just sitting there and the lyrics poured out of me like freestyle. Yeah, I'm trying not to drink, really trying not to drink. It's the only thing left after you. There's only me. In this home, I'm all alone for the upteenth time. At least now I got this dog to keep me hanging on the ride. Because I was so suicidal.
Wow.
When you're in an abusive relationship, your self-worth is chiseled away little by little until there's nothing left. You're gaslit. You feel crazy. You have no baseline of reality or truth. And I was just enduring things that I never thought that I would ever be in a position to endure, because I am a strong Southern woman and I was raised better than this, And so I had these lyrics, the verses, and then years later in 2021, I'm sitting again, just sitting in my living room playing guitar, and a train went by. And like, I guess the way that the train's brakes made the screeching sound, and it was like, ah. And I playing the guitar, I'm like, oh shit. And I happened to be recording, and I was like, hey, now I'm in the middle of a really good breakdown. It just came out of me. And so that would be another example of one of those moments where you have this song, and then, oh my God, this divine inspirational moment has come to me. And now that's the chorus, because the chorus used to be, I stay high, which is now the bridge, right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean, that's just a song about how I was self-medicating. And this is a snapshot of where I am. I'm in the middle of a really good breakdown. And then I had the song, it was complete, but then literally like 4 months before I went to record the album, I think Taylor Swift was in New Orleans for her Eras Tour concert. And I mean, I have this daily practice where I just play guitar and whatever comes out of me comes out of me. And I must have been playing the chords of Breakdown, and then I just switched it and like the cadence of how I was playing it, and all of a sudden I'm like, this sounds so cheesy, but I'm like singing to Taylor Swift of what I thought she should do while she was in New Orleans. And I was like, go see the Mississippi, go see the oak trees. And then before I was going to go record Breakdown, I was like, oh, that little snippet of song could be the outro of Breakdown. So I'm not ending this song on this, like, I'm a victim, everything's shit, I'm having a breakdown. What if I put this outro on there as like this moment of, okay, I'm out of the breakdown. I went to the Mississippi. I touched on the I touched earth. Everything's gonna be okay. I knew just how this would end, you know, like, so, you know, 3 different moments across the span of all these different years where this section of the song, this section of the song, and finally like this beautiful outro comes together, you know. That's Breakdown.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. It's very unique. Like compared to the rest of the songs, it kind of stands on its own. But it feels to me almost like the interlude of the album because
Yeah.
you led us up to these very personal feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, it's almost like, okay, guys, you're literally telling us, okay, I know I hate him. I know this is awful. I know that I let him in. I know I did this to myself. So let me get through this breakdown.
Yeah.
Because then after that, it softens a little bit
It
the rest of the
softens.
album. And it feels wonderful, which again, now I'm remembering even more details I want to get into. One that surprised me that I listened to a lot, and it surprised me that I wanted to listen to it so much, is DMT.
Dude.
What a good, simple, but soft song. I love that song. I
Me
love it
too.
so much. I
Yeah.
want you to tell me about that one because that one to me is so special.
It was a song when I was still living in Shreveport. My best friend Prill, I wrote a song about her on my Neutral Ground album called Dear Prill. April and I, we were like 22, 23, and we were like in that discovering drugs phase of our lives. And I was never interested in any drugs that could kill you because I had lost my best friend to an overdose early on. So like I still to this day and will never try cocaine. I've never tried pills, and you know, lots of things I'm just like, no, thank you. But April at the time, she was like in a really bad place with some harder drugs, but like we really wanted to try DMT, and we had this friend who's like, I can get you DMT, and we're sitting on my couch, or she's in a chair, I'm on the couch, and he's right here. You know, DMT is an experience for about 7 minutes. It doesn't last long, but I mean, from my experience, I looked down in the and the pattern and the pillows and the pattern of the couch, like this paisley pattern, started moving out of the couch and like dancing with the music. We were listening to a song, and I could see music for the first time in my life, and that has stuck with me ever since that experience. I can see music, and like I can move my body dancing wise or moving wise. I can see it. It's like smoke rings, you know, like the way smoke billows out of a cigarette. Like I could see the music. And then I look over to my right, and April has turned white as a ghost, runs through the bathroom, throws up, comes back in the room, looks at me like I'm the devil, freaked out, scared out of her mind, and runs out of my house.
Oh my God.
So so the lyric is like, you saw death, I saw music, dance right out of me, dance right out of me. guess that's just where we were, you know? And so, like, I had written this song, which is just like a snapshot of that moment. It just, when you have a daily practice of sitting down either with whatever instrument and you just let whatever needs to come out of you come out, that's how a lot of my songs are conceived. And so then, you know, a couple months later, I meet this guy named Hans Williams, who's a young singer-songwriter, just graduated from, no, at the time, I think he was about to graduate from college. And I was just like, dude, I'm a big fan. If you ever want to like get together and do songwriting sessions. He came over one day and I just showed him that first verse. And then he and I just started putting it, he put his verse and like we just jammed it together and it came out into this beautiful, like very, there was no expectations with that song. It was just a moment captured that is now out in the universe. There's no, like, I don't know how to say it, but like, some songs you're like, oh, this is good. This could be on the radio, or, oh, this has got the hook or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But like, that was just like, it's a B-side song that I just needed to be out in the universe.
It felt like that because it's also departs from the messages and the tones and the vibes. But yeah, so like that was like such a release song.
Yeah.
But I go to that song a lot. Like it always feels good when I'm leaving the restaurant at 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's a very chill song. And like Hans's lyrics then gave me inspiration. I mean, like, so he came over to my house. We sat on my couch. He literally complimented me and told me how strong and like amazing he thought I was. And at the time I was in an unhappy relationship and it made me feel so free. And like, I was reminded of who I am because I'd kind of, with my pattern, become a bit of a shell of myself in the relationship. And here's this young 22-year-old dude who's like, I look up to you. You're incredible. You're so strong and you're so talented. And I'm like, thank you. Like, it reminded me of that. And then the bridge was another lyrical thing that had just come to me, which is like, it's like using nursery rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
To basically say like the reality of all this shit of the current times is like, Jimmy got caught and I don't fucking care. I don't care that he got caught. He needs to be free and he needs to not be murdered for getting caught or whatever. You know, like it's just like a play on like social shit. Like Jack and Jill fell down the goddamn hill. Sally sells seashells by the highway. You know, it's like, baby, now we're all sinners in the USA. Like, it's just like a vague touching on the world that is around us and how people who are actually witnessing like what's happening around us are like, damn. But yeah, there's no like theme of the song and this is what it's about. It's like, it's going to be one of those songs one day that I listen back to years later and I'm like, that's what that shit's about. Holy fuck. But like presently, it was just something that flowed out of me and I just allowed it to flow and allowed it to flow out of Hans. And I mean, what's really cool is I had never performed it live before. It was just like a song that he and I wrote on acoustic guitar. Then we went to the studio and we recorded it. And then for my Tipitina's album release show, we were rehearsing it in my apartment and I started bawling.
Wow.
I started bawling because I was just like, it felt like a spiritual experience hearing it with the full band and playing. It felt like it was just so special, you know, and it's just it's a testament of like, sometimes songs don't need to be anything other than what they are, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, our human tendency is to make everything familiar. So we need to add a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been learning that slowly to be like, you know what? I actually don't know the meaning of this and I don't know my fucking purpose. I just know that I would like to do this.
Yeah.
So let me like not think
Yeah.
about, okay, now this is what I'm gonna do. And these are the steps. Like I need to chill out. I need to
Yeah, if it's too conceptualized, sometimes you lose a little bit of that.
yeah.
You don't leave room for God, or you don't leave room for that, like that magic that can come into the room.
How
Yeah.
did you plan, if you even did, how did you think of the visuals for the album?
I knew that I was going to name it Upstate, and I knew that I had a tour coming up, a solo tour opening up for Fink, that I would be going through Shreveport. And my best friend, Hunter Holder, is an incredibly talented photographer. He's taken so many photos of me throughout the years. And so we just planned that while we were in Shreveport that day, we were going to hit up some spots and take some photos. And I wanted to choose the most meaningful places of my hometown that like bring me joy or like taught me some lessons. And so when you look at the album artwork, the front cover is in front of the original Southern Made Donuts, which is pure joy for me. It's I love donuts, and it's the best donut in the world as far as I'm concerned. And I love the old architecture, and I love like hot, 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 and the Southern Made, and like my little van sticking out. It's just, again, this is a snapshot of where I'm at right now. And then the back cover is me kind of just like leaning up against the Cub, which is a great little dive bar that I spent many nights and getting, hammered. And it's just, I love that little bar. It actually stands for Christian Union Brothers. Because back in the day, it was like, I think it was a male only bar, and on the receipts, the wives would see Christian Union Brothers instead of the Cub bar, so. And then on the inside, you fold it out, and it's my childhood home and the big magnolia tree that I would climb, and kind of was like the seedlings of who I eventually became. I used to climb that tree and just lay in it and read books, and, just so I really wanted the artwork to look the way the album sounded and to pay homage to where I come from, because another big goal I had for this album was like, you need to get back to who you were and why you got into this in the first place, when you were just a 22-year-old kid playing music, like before you ever met producers or bands that influenced you, or like just get back to who you were as a kid and what you listened to and the kind of music you always wanted to create one day, before all that other stuff came in and like kind of muddied up that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I relate, and I loved it. It seemed so confident and relaxed and empowered, because it was so not pretentious at all.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. In fact, I actually have the album artwork here. I was gonna put it later, but I feel like
Nothing is more cringy to me that it's just me walking, and he got it, and I was like, I feel like there's many photos of me walking, but to me that felt very, like you just said, like to me, I genuinely was like, oh, I look very natural and relaxed, but also very strong, and however I was walking with that position right there. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I know who I am, and therefore I know what I want and how, so back in the day, I would do these photo shoots with all the smoke and mirrors and the fire behind me and the music video. And it's just like, girl, you don't need all that. You know who you are. I mean, like, that's great if you're like doing a spread in a magazine, or if you're doing something really fun, but it's like, for this album, just stick to who you are.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple, babe.
And I think that's why it was so relatable, so effective, so powerful, and at the end of the day, so impressive. Like,
Thank you.
Because I had heard all your work before, and I've always been a fan. I mean, you are absolutely talented. You have a great voice. I love your lyrics. I'm a lyrics girl. Like, I love a good story being told, and you have all of that. And Your presence on stage is powerful. So what moved me, having known you for the past couple of years, was seeing how you really took that power, that raw power, and you just shared it.
Mm.
You said, this is it, this is what I've got, this is what I want to say. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
receive it, and I'm going to continue on. And that's really that. I mean, any artist can always feel really liberated when we see another artist do that, because the pressure is so real. Like, we get in our
Yeah.
fucking heads,
Yeah,
and
totally.
social media, like, we feel like we are not enough, because
Mm.
when we open our phone has headlines about every single thing.
Mm.
And we forget that everything is powered by a terrible capitalist system. And
Yeah.
here we are, some independent artists who are talented, who have a lot of guts to do what we do, but we compare ourselves to these machines.
Mm. Yeah. I
And
don't do
it's
that
easy.
anymore, but I did. I did for a really long time.
I
Yeah.
did it. I did it. I'm doing a lot better, but I still do. And I need
Of
to.
course. I mean, it's really fucking true that comparison is the thief of joy. And my whole purpose has been like, how do I find my joy again? Because for so long I was comparing. I mean, up until COVID, all I was doing was comparing. I was comparing myself to my fellows who were doing this while I just kind of stayed right here. And I'm getting like resentful and like, well, why haven't I made it? And why am I not more successful? And God damn it, why not me? And then COVID just completely flatlined me. I got dropped from the label. My album got shelved. I was just like, and I had to get really, really good with what if you never get there? What if you never succeed the way you wanted? Do you still want to do this? Okay, well, great. If you still want to do this, then why are you doing it? And if you still want to do this, what do you want? Now that you don't have a manager or a label or a booking agent or any other voices in your head, how do you want to do this? I had to get really honest with myself about all of that shit, and
Wow.
I just, I could have become a florist or a teacher and said, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. But at the end of the day, this is what I believe I was put on this earth to do. I was given gifts and abilities that I didn't, that would just were, they're just innate in me. I did not learn them in school. I was not taught how to sing ever. So for me, it became, okay, how do we kill the ego and all of this comparison and bullshit? And how do we focus on serving the song and getting catch and release, catch the song and release, catch, release, no more attachment to these things? How does it become more about serving me and the person that's going to eventually hear this and really connect to it as a cathartic thing instead of, the capitalist thing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is so always so good to hear,
Yeah.
because the amount of times I say I'm gonna not do it again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we all experience this. My dad's been telling me to get a real fucking job for 10 years. But at the end of the day, I read the DMs from people, or I get phone calls from you on the day I released it, and I read a review in a magazine or whatever the hell it is, and I'm reminded that I am on the right path and that it will all work out. It'll all be okay because I'm living my purpose, and I'm using my gifts from my higher power to be a vessel for something bigger than all of this capitalist bullshit. I mean, I don't know. Look,
Wow.
the Grammys were last night, right? Of course, all of us would like to be acknowledged, nominated, win a Grammy one day. But I believe that the people that are celebrated on that night are people who really tapped into their purpose, their true purpose. You know, it's usually the ones that are succeeding are the ones that have had this moment. Like last year it was Doechii. It's like they're the ones that have really gotten to an honest place about who they are as an artist and what they are here to do. And the rest of it is just fluff, smoke and mirrors, and you have to take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I don't know how to wrap my head around a lot of things, so I try to just keep it simple, you know, and trust that what's meant for me will not pass me up as long as I'm staying out of my own way and staying true to myself.
Do you, I mean, I'm sure you do, but you are an independent artist.
As independent as they come, honey.
Girl, fingers. How a struggle I have a lot is getting very overwhelmed by that because
yeah, of course.
I don't have I have a band that I call, but at the end of the day, my shows are Malentina, like Maggie.
Everything's on you, baby.
Girl.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? I mean, the advantage that you have that I do not have is that I cannot sing and play an instrument, unfortunately. I need to put more hours into that.
Well, the moment I started being able to do that was the moment I was truly liberated in who I am as an artist. So, yeah, the moment I had, and it was during COVID that I honed in on that, because I was like, all of a sudden, I can't call somebody over to come over because of the pandemic to play on a gig for me. There were no gigs. I just picked up my guitar and started playing it every single day as a daily practice until I got more and more comfortable, like one day at a time. And you know, I'm not the best, and I'm far from the best musician. However, I finally feel so tapped in live.
I can see that.
I just feel I am in control. I am not relying on these other people, these brothers, but ultimately hired musicians to translate my song for me. I am in charge of how it's translated. And for a really long time, I was told by managers, boyfriends, whatever, it's like, you should not play guitar live. You don't play correctly. It's whatever. And during COVID, I was like, I like the way I play. And I like the sound that I create in the weird way that I play. And I'm going to stick to that. And that was the first thing I told Ajay before we started working on Upstate. I was like, listen, I'm really insecure about this. So I need to form a boundary right now and let you know that if I can, I would like to play guitar on as many of these songs as possible. And he was just like, all right, you know, I respect that.
That's honestly so epic.
Yeah.
So and that's really powerful. That's really powerful.
I would encourage you to, you know, I don't play on every song. I play on most of the songs now, guitar or piano. On a few now, instead of the whole set, me being the front woman, now I'm only the front woman on like 2 or 3 songs, you know?
That is so epic. I honestly, and actually just recently I decided, so I was always set on piano. It just always felt like that make the most sense to me.
Yeah.
But I just decided recently that I was going to buy a guitar because I really want to be able to book myself.
Yeah.
Because right now, that really is what holds me back. And I get very overwhelmed whenever I'm offered gigs. Yeah. I want to say yes like that. But I'm like, okay, can I answer you when I call every single member of my band and I can coordinate with their schedules and payment and blah, 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 blah.
That is why I'm saying it's so liberating. When a year ago, I did my first solo tour, opening up for Fink. I was terrified. to be up there by myself. I was so scared I was going to screw up every night on the guitar, because to play guitar and to sing at the same time is its own beast.
Yeah.
But now I'm so comfortable. I'm so comfortable. And it was like, I just had a show on Saturday night in Austin, and I was watching just the feeling I had, and then also watching back videos on social media. I'm like, damn, I have come so far in a year.
Wow.
You just have to make little goals. You have to meet yourself where you are. But I'm telling you, the moment you do not have to rely on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people's schedules in order to do what you want to do to make your living, it is the most incredible feeling in the world. I'd take any gig I want to take, and then I'd start building the band, according to the gig and the budget. But yeah. I'm telling you, it is the greatest feeling in the world. And I think when you are doing a balancing of being this entertainer and front woman, which we love to do, but then putting on the guitar, sitting at the piano, it's showing people I'm an artist. I am an artist. I wrote these songs. If I had a penny for every time somebody asked me, oh, do you write your own songs?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because they assume that I didn't, because I'm not playing an instrument on stage. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful feeling. And I'm going to tell you something else. When you are playing an instrument and you're locked in with your bass player and your drummer and your piano player, and you're part of that symbiotic energy on stage, it's not you out there singing and they're behind you. When you're a part of the team and you're tapped in together and you're communicating without words, just energy and eyes, and there is no cooler feeling.
I bet.
There's no cool, like, I have truly found my joy on stage by playing more the instrument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember I met a musician one time that was explaining that to me, and he said, and that's why they call playing.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, totally.
And I was like, that's cute. That's very cute. Which actually leads me to this other song that I'm very curious about. Okay. Keep Your Heroes Handsome.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Because that's a lyricless song.
Yeah, it's just an instrumental.
And I was not expecting that, especially after the incredible vocal journey and the incredible storytelling. Mm-hmm. And then, it's that release right after DMT.
Yeah.
But what I love about it, what's so delicious, is that DMT elevates it to your falsetto, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly Keep Your Heroes Handsome comes back.
Boom. Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. I was like, what a fucking exit.
Thank you.
I wanna know more about that song.
Okay, so of all of the songs on the album, the oldest one is Keep Your Heroes Handsome. I was doing a session, and I want to say 2013, 13. Could have been 2012 for all I know. I was kind of newish to town. I was in the studio and we were just kind of warming up. We hadn't started recording the songs that I was going to sing on yet. And I just sat at the piano. The drummer was at the drums. The upright bass player, Trey Boudreau from Lafayette, he was playing. Yeah. And then Chris Lippincott on guitar. And we were just kind of warming up. And the engineer was recording it. And wow. I always loved it. I would listen to it throughout the years. It felt like this almost Shavasana song that just really like grounds me. And the arcs and the peaks and valleys of the song, it was just so emotional, like the way that we were so connected. And it was just a warm-up before we started recording for that session. And I thought to myself, like, well, damn, I feel like this could be on this album. Okay, well, if it is, where is it? And I was like, oh, it's the very last song. It's the Shavasana song.
Wow.
You know, it's the bookend of, you don't even need to be singing. There don't even need to be lyrics. This is the end of the album now, you know? And the title.
That's what I'm waiting here. It's so good.
The title, I'd heard that phrase like around the same time in 2011 or 12, 13, I can't remember. I'd heard that phrase. And I always used to tell myself that. Sometimes, you know, especially when you're younger, you get in rooms with people who you really look up to, and then they disappoint you because we're all human beings with character defects, or sometimes we have bad days or whatever the hell it is. I had met a hero of mine, you know, a few weeks before going in to record Upstate, and we were hanging out and having coffee, and like we were just, it felt like I was really forming like a mentor-mentee relationship. And this person said something that really devastatingly disappointed me. The like second day of recording Upstate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, because the instrumental used to just be called New Song. That was its working title. So when that happened, I was like, that's what I'm going to name this. I want people, you know, that's my story, but I want people to walk away from this. Let's say they listen to this album and now I'm their hero. I want that neutralizing title to be like, still a fucked up person at the end of the day, and I hope that I never upset anybody or disappoint people, but I will, you know. So I just thought it was a good little end title for the album.
I think I thought it was such a well-rounded comeback,
Mm-hmm.
because the whole thing was like a journey of integration.
Yeah.
No longer avoiding. It was like a look, this is what's up, and this is what
Yeah.
I'm going through, and I'm not going to avoid it, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
No.
I'm in the middle of a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Get with it. I know how this ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I don't know. It was so nice. It was such a great arc. And that's why I thought it was such a clever collection of songs.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I came up with something really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to share it here. So, okay, I designed my logos myself. Okay. I don't know with what time, but I've been doing it. Thank you. So I decided that, you know, after we talk about the work and all these things, I want to do let me put it right here, Malentía time.
Yeah.
So the idea is it's rapid fire questions where you don't have much time to think, but you can develop. It's not like timed.
Okay.
But I was like, these are the kinds of questions where we're just going to go get into it.
Let's get into it.
And let's sip some tea. A song that feels like your current era.
Masters of War by Bob Dylan.
Okay.
Because I want to start writing songs that are less about my internal world and more about the external world. I've been listening to a lot of Bob Dylan recently. I mean, my whole life, but more recently. I want to be writing about what the hell is happening out there in a way that connects us all, you know? I've been listening to a lot of protest music lately, Joan Baez, and just shit that, you know, gets me through what the hell's happening out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
I love it because I think we're going through a renaissance in music because of the state of the world.
I'm kind of sick of writing about dudes and love. I think I'm out of my Taylor Swift era and back in going into my my Bob Dylan era, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Something people misunderstand about you.
I think that people think I'm way more serious all the time and intense. I mean, I am, but I think that I have developed quite a sense of humor and lightness about me the older I've gotten.
I mean, you're a double fire, which I love because I'm a fire sign. I'm a Leo. So hell yeah, girl. A hill you will die on.
Equal rights and justice for all.
Best rule you've ever broken.
Best rule I've ever broken. This is not Spitfire. I'm sorry. Best rule I've ever broken. I don't know. Best rule I've ever broken. Oh. Taking Tom wherever the hell I want. Before he was actually a service dog, I used to just tell people he was a service dog when he was like a puppy and I was taking him on tour. But now he's an actual service dog, so.
And I mean, we need him.
I know. He's a healer. He's
He is a
he's
healer.
a good boy.
Yeah, he's a great boy, and I miss that boy.
I know.
Okay, a lyric you wrote that still hits you in the chest.
Yeah. I recently wrote a song called Hurricane. It's new. It'll be on the next EP that I'm recording in the spring. And the bridge of it, it's just like
Can you reveal a word or a phrase?
yeah, I mean the bridge is so hold my hand, we're jumping in. I see our child on our land. She wears flowers in her hair. I'm so sorry I got ahead. And it's just, I don't know why, like every time I sing it, I get verklempt. I'm just like, it's not that profound of a lyric or anything, but like in context to the whole song it is, but it's just like seeing this dream of a life that I always wanted and acknowledging that that dream may not come true and that I have to trust in God's timing and I have to trust in the universe giving me what I want. Maybe I'm a mother in other ways. Maybe I don't become a mother the way that I always thought I would, right?
That is so real for a lot of us women in 2026.
Yeah.
Especially millennials.
Yeah.
That is so real.
Yeah.
Yes, girl. Okay. On a lighter note, I kind of know the answer to this, but I wanted to ask anyway. Movie sets or backstage life?
You get treated better on movie sets, but my true purpose and calling is backstage life.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd love to do another movie. That was so much fun.
That was so much
For
fun.
y'all who are very confused right now, Malentina and I were in a movie called, what did they change? Country Heartstrings.
Country Heartstrings?
Or what is it called now? I know they changed the title on us like 3 times.
It started as Heartstrings.
Country.
No, Americana Dream.
Yeah, Americana Dream, then Country Heartstrings.
I think then Heartstrings, then Country Heartstrings.
Yeah, it's Country Heartstrings.
Yeah.
It's on Tubi. I starred in it. It ends up being it ended up being a female empowerment movie.
Look,
our good girlfriend AJ Haynes, who won a Grammy last night, she's in it, and she's kind of like, she's just phenomenal in general, but she's really good in it. But yeah, I'm actually like, as campy as it is, like I'm so proud of that movie, and I'm so proud of us, and the fact that we pulled it off in a way, you know.
Honestly, look, I've done a few movies and I've done a lot of commercials. I think that was one of the best experiences I have ever had on set. And it was like, look, I
We
remember
formed
the
a
day
family.
we became,
Jonathan,
we became
and Carly, like we are family now for the rest of our lives because of that experience.
I am so grateful for that experience just because of y'all.
Yeah,
Like that
same.
was so amazing, such a very peculiar time in my life. And look at where we are now. And
I
I feel like
know.
that was yesterday, honestly.
And the way that you, AJ, Carly, and Jonathan have inspired me and made me feel stronger in times where I didn't feel so strong, or y'all, like the unconditional love and support. It's just rare, and we really, I believe in divine timing on the way the way we all got the role was so random and weird, and I don't know. I think the universe or God was definitely involved in all of that, because
Absolutely.
y'all are some of my closest friends now for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I couldn't believe the talent in front of me, but you have been so supportive. Like that was the thing that blew my mind away, just how grounded you are. Like you're this powerhouse and you're like, "What's up, girl? How can I help? What do you need? You need a pep talk? You need me to tell you where to go? You need me to connect you with some people? Like I got you." And
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
but
cool.
I think because I grew up in Shreveport, where women were pinned against each other and we were told to compete with one another, and there was only room for one of us. And then I moved down to New Orleans and I meet all of these incredible women where I was like, oh, that none of that's true. In fact, we're stronger together. And it's an honor and privilege to get to now be in a position where I can help other people. Whereas when I was younger, I needed help. Now I can help others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, if I, I'm a hard nut to crack at first, but once I let you in my world, you are there for the rest of my life if you want to be.
I
Yeah.
do. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful, seriously.
Grateful for
Okay, so
you.
it takes a lot of guts to admit our dream. I
Yeah.
don't know why. This was always very hard for me.
Mhm.
So I want on this last Malentí moment,
Yeah.
name your big dream.
Okay. I would like to own a home, uh, maybe somewhere like Costa Rica or somewhere in nature by the ocean. I want to look out into the ocean and see my man surfing while I'm playing with my baby on the beach, and feel so secure in, oh my God, I'm like verklempt. And feel so secure and content in the choices that I made to get to that moment.
That's
That's
so real.
that's the dream.
That's the dream. Thank you for naming that. I
Yeah.
never knew how hard it was to actually admit my dream out loud.
Yeah.
I've been writing on Substack. So I have Mucha Malentía for a podcast, and then I love to write. I love it. So I've been writing, and it's also cathartic on another Substack called Fabulous for No Reason. And it's about that, like, look, I just want to do this. I don't want to justify it.
Yep.
And I
You don't have
recently,
to.
my last post was about me discovering that I'm afraid to admit what I really want.
Yeah. We're conditioned as women to keep that shit to ourselves and to be grateful for what we get,
Yeah.
So I think it takes a lot of bravery to not only pinpoint your dream, but then to go out and chase it, and unapologetically so. I think that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. Yeah. Which leads me to, what is Malentia, courage, to you?
Mm, courage. like I just said, it takes a lot of courage to write a song and then sing it in front of an audience. But I think it also takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, to let the bodyguard kind of take a night off and let the sadness come out to be seen. It takes a lot of courage to allow love in, to be loved, to receive love. That takes a lot of courage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's easy to give love, but it's to be able to receive it, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
love and support, because love in the form of like, I've been, you know, financially not as stable as I'd like to be, and the courage to reach out to a friend to say, hey, can you help me in this moment, and I'll be able to pay you back in a day or two. Like, to ask for the courage to ask for help in moments of just complete and utter, what the fuck do I do? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That is the tea. That is. Okay, so girl, this has been a real dream. Like, we never have time to sit and talk.
No, but we should. I mean, what fuck? We
Yes,
FaceTime, girl.
I
Are you gonna
know.
move here?
No,
Okay.
not yet. Not yet.
Well, if you're supposed to, you're supposed to, and if not, then you just always have a place to stay.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I have a lot of work to do there, but I did acquire management, and she's in Puerto Rico, and
Hell
the
yeah.
focus is
Hell yeah.
to go to Puerto Rico. So I'm gonna be
Hell
going in March.
yes. So I will come visit you.
Yes. Oh my God, dude. Yes. So that's actually when I was like, okay, I'm not a millionaire. I need to hang tight, but I am moving. I'm moving on with my life, and it's amazing.
Yes.
And that also took a lot of malentia, a lot of
Yeah,
courage.
baby. It takes a lot of courage to, I mean, yeah, that took a lot of courage. I was gonna get more specific, but that takes a lot of courage.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Like, I did not know. I've always been like you in the sense that look, I'm a fire sign, and you know that I can be feisty and I can be very like
My Leo
loud
queen.
and and confident and everything. But you know, I have to admit, because I want to be real, okay? In my life, to be known is to be loved. If you don't love me, then fucking go.
Right.
You know, like I a lot of the fire is a protective barrier.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, anger is a bodyguard for sadness and vulnerability, and like, as a fire sign, our initial go-to is to be like, anger, fire,
right?
Or
Or like you were saying earlier, I'm not going to ask for help. I can do this. You know, like, and I've always been a doer, and I live in Lafayette where my family's not here. Like, I landed here because of a job 11 years ago. Like, you know, and then I just stuck with, and then I had a relationship that lasted 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've built a strong connection with people, and I've done so many things here. I mean, I've played at Festival International, plays, been in movies, you name it. I've done a lot. And it was hard to abandon that, but I didn't realize I was very scared to let go.
Of course.
Because it was unfamiliar.
You want to know the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life was leave a good man. Wow. A good man who did nothing wrong other than we just were not compatible. Wow. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
That is really, really tough.
To choose myself and my dreams over, well, this is good. This is good, you know? But I think our ancestors, a lot of women that came before us, they never had the opportunity and the courage to do what we're doing and to chase these insane dreams and to want better than good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And you were saying that earlier, you know, when you mentioned your real dream and a potential family. You know how often I feel slight guilt because I want my dream really badly. like what we're doing right now is a huge dream of mine.
Yes,
It's
it
something
is.
that I hope to build into
You
something
will. You
really
will.
big. And I'm like, sometimes I have the feeling that I'm choosing wrong, that I should prioritize the more conventional woman role
No,
of
babe. You do whatever feels right for you. It took me a really long time to get to this new dream.
yeah.
Okay? It my whole life until I was about 34, 35, family, husband and kid was not in the end goal. The end goal was always my career. And it is only in the past year that I realized that the biggest lesson that I'm supposed to learn in this lifetime is to learn how to have a family, to form a family, and to love, and to have a family that really shows up and loves unconditionally.
Wow.
The gifts and talents and drive for my career, that's a purpose. But the true dream is to learn how to have a family in this lifetime. And they can coincide.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully I learn how to coincide those dreams. But yeah, I know, I like, once somebody said it to me, it gave me permission. I mean, I got an astrology natal chart reading from Cosmic Navigator. His name's Gal Sassoon. And he said to me, he's looking at my chart, he says, "You have been famous in every single lifetime that you've ever lived.
Wow.
But the reason you have one foot in fame and one foot outside of fame in this lifetime is because that fame ended up killing you every time." He was like, you were in the 27 club. You know, do you know what that is?
No. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Then you
Yeah.
died.
He was like, you were definitely in the 27 club. You were stalked and killed at one point. You overdosed. All of these things. He was like, and so and he was like reading, and he was like, yeah, I mean, you're the biggest lesson from this life that you're supposed to learn is how to have a family. And it was like somebody affirmed what I always knew and gave me permission to believe it.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I really ultimately don't need all the fame and recognition. It'd be nice, but I don't need that. I need to learn how to be in a family and form my own family and my own safe bubble in the world, to put roots down, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's courageous. That's very courageous.
Thanks, bud.
That's really, really powerful because I don't think we let ourselves admit that, you know?
Especially when you're driven so long with career. And in my 20s, I was like, I don't ever want to get married. I don't ever want kids. It's not for me. I want to be on tour and blah, blah, blah. Then you get older and you see your friends, they get married, they have kids, and and like, there's aspects of that life that I don't want. And that's why I don't want to do the school drop-offs and I don't want to do a traditional family. I want I want to create my own version of that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Maybe my kid is homeschooled with or in this like little tiny community school where they're, there's just so many different ways you can create that dream, right? You don't have to just follow one formula.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we're living in a time where we're finally, especially our generation,
Oh yeah.
has seen our great grandparents, our grandparents, and our parents, and how
Yeah.
it's all like gone to shit.
Well, yeah, it's just I recently was volunteering in for a family that had been affected by ICE bullshit, and I was picking up these two little boys, these brothers, every morning at 7 7:30. No, it was 7 a.m. No, it was 7:30. 7:30 a.m. I'd pick them up every morning, take them to school. 3 p.m. pick them up from school, take them back to their mother. I did it for like 5 weeks. And one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to help this family out. But it helped me realize like I actually like I don't want that to be a part of how I raise a kid. Like I want to figure out a different, like, I don't know. I just was like, maybe I'm walking my kid down the street to the community school. Maybe I want it to be I want it to look different for me personally, that like the school drop-offs and like the soccer games and all that stuff. And like, I don't know. I want to figure out what my life could look like outside of the formula. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So we've made it to the tail end. I have 2 more questions if you have 2 more answers.
Okay.
So, who or what are you becoming right now?
A truly physically sober and emotionally sober grown-ass woman.
Girl, hell yeah. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And what do you hope women and fellow artists listening take from your journey?
I hope that they feel stronger. I hope that it gives them like courage. I hope that they feel, I hope they are able to really truly believe I can get through this. I'm going to be just fine.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The greatest, I've been receiving messages lately. One woman, you're helping me get through a divorce. And I was like, damn, that's an honor. You're listening to my album to get you through your divorce, the demise of a marriage that you hoped worked out. I can't imagine what you're feeling. And I get to be, it's an honor to when people tell me that. I'm so grateful that I can be of service, That's what it feels like.
And we're grateful. I'm grateful that you have persevered even when the going got really tough.
Yeah.
Even when, you were like, do I really want to live like this? Do I really have to explain myself? Do I really need to be in a room with all these men? I'm really glad that you have discovered that you have the power. Because by you having this power and navigating it in a really raw, open way, I have felt like I could take that chance. And because I know that affected me in that way, I know other people will feel that, especially with this last album in which you opened it and you were like, in fact, I think it even begins with you taking a breath. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like
and a little, yeah. And I wanted to leave that in there. And I wanted to leave the squeaky chair in the very beginning of Oaxaca, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I like little things like that are very important to me on albums. Like, no. And like for the end of Breakdown, the train went by and I was like, we have to get the recording of the train. Just those like little moments where life can come in.
Yeah. That I think has been the biggest takeaway from your album, from the journey you shared, is that you have integrated it. It's no longer this or that, isolated, protected. It's my gate is finally open, and I'm seeing where
my heart chakra is finally open.
And that's really powerful. That's the most powerful we can be, I think, as human beings, is when we're not here.
Yes, and for so long I was this for too long, for too fucking long, and like that's also been very liberating.
Yeah, Good job, girl. I love you so much. Thank you for being my
Yeah,
first guest.
thank you.
Like, this is such an
Thank
honor
you
for me.
for
So much for tuning into my first episode of Mucha Malentía. I hope you got a lot from it the way that I did. It was such a pleasant experience. I cannot wait to develop this more. We have to start somewhere, so I can't wait to show you how I'm going to develop my production. For now, I am so grateful to have you as my audience. Huge thanks to Maggie Koerner. Please check out her music. Find her on social media as Maggie Koerner. Find her latest album, Upstate, and find her other albums all on all major streaming platforms.